we're going live. Oh, I think we're live. All right, happy Wednesday. Subodh, we are all yours.
All right, so today's Wednesday. Everyone knows the drill. We talk about what we have been working, where we are. If we have any blockers, we just mention it. And hopefully somebody can unblock it. So we'll get started. Okay. We got Atish. All right.
Atish, you are my favorite camera every time you turn on your camera. It's
You
like,
awake, Atish? Or you want some 10 minutes?
No, I mean, do I need to take 10 minutes or?
Up to you. If you want 10 minutes, I can give you 10 minutes. We can circle back to you.
I'm all right. I really don't want to move.
Atish, you're still in college, right?
I am still in college.
If I was in college and I had to wake up at, what time is it now? 7:30 in the morning on like a Friday morning, like I would not make it. I can't tell you enough how grateful I am for your early AM West Coast effort.
Thank you.
You're an inspiration.
It's very rough. I agree. Anyways,
All right. So
yeah.
we'll get started with you, Atish.
So I got some feedback from Subodh and Madi that the validation API is busted. So I decided I'll do some very thorough testing yesterday because it kept getting broken and I didn't know why. And so I realized I was missing some code bats. So I made sure my testing covered everything I was able to do. And now I'm 95% sure it's working. So that's been merged. And then I also made the changes in the actual experiment so that we pull from Postgres. That's also been merged. So I think everything on my end is unblocked now, assuming nothing goes wrong. For the population thing in Postgres, one thing I have to do is add an index for state because usually we just pull like directly for the entire state, so that should speed things up. And yeah, and then maybe some more cleanup in like first party statements and stuff, because right now it's this data set's even less verbose than the other one. So I think, yeah, that's what I'm up to. Don't think I have any blockers unless anyone has anything.
No, all good. So we were testing it today. So far, no issue. We were trying to change it from async to sync. That's the only thing we are doing, and the validation one is perfect. It gives the output in the format that we were expecting. So yeah, all is good. Hopefully, I won't bother you after this, and we should have this thing in the dev by late today or tomorrow once we have done some more testing on our end.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Subodh.
You said about adding the index, but if you say that it's like select from only this state, the Postgres will do internally, right? I mean, it should be efficient. Why do you then need to add index? Because it's a tabular data anyway.
Well, I just like asked ChatGPT and it said that it doesn't add indexes automatically. So the index is for validation because we pull the population by only querying the state. So I thought like if we index each state, then like if I say New York instead of it looking through everyone, it'll just, immediately know. And then I quickly load it. That was all.
Okay. Give a try if it speeds up. That will be nice. Yeah. Thanks, Satish. Chin.
Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Wednesday. So I was working on changing the prompt so that we can extract the decision strategy. So I've done that, and I've also made changes in my branch so that we can so that it's outputs that data into the table that we create. I ran that for an individual run, not the batch run. I did try the batch run more recently, but I did face an error when I did that. It's like it's it can't get the 1 TB run details, and it's some kind of error like that. So maybe I mean I would have come sooner with it, but I just recently ran it. So maybe we can connect Subodh, or I can like send you the error and we can figure it out. But
Okay.
that's kind of it from me.
Do you get a higher Spearman R when you ask it for an explanation before it gives the letter?
So the thing is, so the one run that I did do, I merged from dev, and I don't know if there has been changes. And the old run that I did before my changes, I think it was on an older branch. I don't know if anything changed. I just need to rerun again without my changes to have a good comparison. But I feel like the Spearman actually dropped quite a lot now, but like earlier it increased. So I need to like just have a fresh run, probably right now with the new dev, because I just merged from dev and I didn't like do a clean run yet without my changes.
Good.
So
Good. That's good. Good habit. You're developing good developer habits.
yeah, so yeah, I'll have more information, and I think with the batch run, we'll have a clearer idea again, right? So be more than just one study. So
And then when you're putting these changes in, you're kind of feature flagging so that we can test the old and the new pretty easily, as like a configuration change, or are you like just changing the whole code?
I'm sorry, what do you mean feature flagging?
Feature flag. So there's the concept of feature flagging. There's actually this company called Launch Darkly. They're like a $26 billion enterprise company. The only thing they do is they put a nice UI around Kubernetes' feature flag capability, kind of like the same way Vercel just wraps Terraform. Anyway, the idea is every feature is just kind of like an if-then switch. And so in the code you say, if Chin's new feature, then we run it this way. If not Chin's new feature, we run it the old way. And that way, with a configuration change in the experiment, we can check the old code versus the new code.
So that's how I did it. I added a new boolean in the experiment configuration, which is like, if it's true, it executes a different part of the code that extracts the digital strategy, and if you leave that as false, which is the default, it just executes as is.
Oh, brilliant! Perfect! Nice work.
Thanks.
You implicitly reinvented feature flagging.
I mean, I guess I just didn't know it was called that.
Check out Launch Darkly. You'll get a kick out of their product.
All right, I'll check that out. Oh, and just one last thing. Are we meeting up today? Is that happening?
I'd like to. If it's in my calendar, I'll be there.
No, the NYU thing. Is that?
Oh shit. That's not in my calendar. I'm okay. I have headshots, so like I'm okay. If you want to go, if where's Rupesh? Do we have Rupesh? If you guys want to go, I'll go.
Okay.
Rupesh is in California, I think.
Oh, you're right. Who else is in New York?
It's fine.
Let's go. It'll be fun. You want to go?
Yeah. I guess we can figure it out after stand-up.
Who else is in New York? Mia, you're in New York. Lucy, you guys want to go?
Sure.
Yeah, all right.
It's Abbey Street, so might as well go.
Exactly. Let's all get nice LinkedIn headshots.
Make him cook.
Thank you for reminding me, Chin.
Right. Florent.
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday.
So today, my biggest task is working on the work with the prospective client. So and trying to run a couple of preliminary experiments. So we're still waiting to hear back from them to get the parameters of the population and things like that, but still just playing with the platform to try to see how much information I can like get a sense of things, and also still whenever it's running, still looking into the void camp, R code, creating new tests, and so on. So that's my day.
Hopefully, maybe by end of this week, Florent will create a endpoint so that anybody then able to upload a set of statement and get a response for that, so that we can then run the Dairy Alliance questionnaire easily. Because running through the whole UI, it will just not work.
That would, I mean, you and I will have to talk more on the side, like how we can run this one, like with what we have, and like if you need to do it in the backend, or we'll figure it out.
Thanks, Lord. Florian.
Hello guys, happy Wednesday. So yesterday I realized there were some validation errors in the multiple brands in Y prompt. So I looked at those and fixed them, and then I pushed it today or yesterday, and it's in dev now. Now I'm working on the links issues for the migrate to rough, but the problem was that there's been a lot of commits between when I was working on it before and now in dev. So now I'm kind of blocked because there's a bunch of rebasing to do, and to be honest, I'm not that great at rebasing. So I don't know, Mari, if we could meet after this and kind of get like, if you could give me like a feel of how to really do it well, that would be great.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, other than that, no blockers, and that's what I'll be working on.
Yeah, Florence. So Florian. So yeah, it was fine after the new changes. We tested few more. There was no issue. So hopefully, if and when we see few more, I'll bug you. But for now, it's all good. Thanks.
Perfect.
Linnea.
Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. This week so far, we were checking for like a final test of the dashboard and that everything looked good before the push to production, and everything was fine. Everything we've done in the past couple weeks looks fine. So that's still, and then also like just fixing some the ranges for continuous variables so that they render nicer in the feature importance graph. Today I'll be looking into dbt researcher. I've started looking through the documentation and I want to test it out today. And other than that, we'll be doing working on redesigning the market simulator tab. I did want to ask, I had one question. When I was just testing various experiments in the real world products, I noticed that some of the features were incorrectly assigned. Like I had a question about buying pianos, and it had a bunch of pianos for the real world products, and like some of them were clearly electric keyboards, and it said that the feature of what type of piano it was acoustic. So I just wanted to bring that up if there's something relevant there.
Can you show the output? Like what was inconsistent?
Yeah. Like now, or do you want to meet later?
We can meet later. That's fine.
Okay, sure. Otherwise, that's all from me.
All right, thanks. Lucy.
Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. So yesterday I worked on the marketing automation. We were trying to figure out what softwares we want to use for it. And then at the meantime, I also worked on some Reddit posts for yesterday and today. And today I'll be working more on the marketing automation process with Mia. And some blockers we have might be like trying to figure out like either we use like Apollo or MailChimp or Novu. We are still trying to figure out those softwares and how do we like connect it back to Make. Yeah.
I see. I think Pablo is a better person than me to comment on those aspects. I really don't have any idea, and maybe I will.
I think we should have a war room. As I always said, let's bring some minds together. Yeah.
We will move on. Madi.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, Madi, we can hear you.
Okay, so here are the followings that I did. So I experiment with GPT researcher, and turns out there was an issue which I get an error in the GPT researcher. I posted the issue on their GitHub and Discord. But now I'm trying to use a different approach there. It might solve, I'm not sure yet. And next, actually reviewed a lot of PRs and merged them. Third, I worked with Subboot on the improved server prompt on the minimization or maximization of the behavior, which Subboot will explain more. And lastly, I worked on the DeepSeek to get made it ready for use. I'm not there yet. I will be working on it. So yeah, this is it.
Madi. Mia.
Hey everybody. Lucy and I have been working on marketing automation together, and I guess between using Make versus Zapper, I think we want to use Make because it's better with like more detailed complex workflows compared to Zapper, because it's a lot more straightforward with Zapper. And I'm having a little bit of a block with LinkedIn, and I think I just need some like clarification with trigger that wants to be set, because we've been playing around with it in Make, and it says that like for like step 1 of the whole process for automation, like we want to get LinkedIn leads who are like, I guess it'd be like HubSpot would be our main, and we want to get to the update. Do we want to get the leads through like, if it's sales navigator, like it's lead list that you make and then like it creates like a new contact, or I guess just like need some clarification how you want that leads list to look from LinkedIn.
Remember the push-pull analogy? LinkedIn would be a push, not a pull. So I don't know if it's a channel to ingest leads. We would be going to LinkedIn to proactively target users,
Okay.
right? If people come
Yeah.
to our blog, it's a pull method. They come to us, right? They're they're ingesting our content and they're coming into our workflow. LinkedIn is outreach, is like direct. So it wouldn't be a marketing effort. It would be a direct sales effort, just to be clear. And
Okay.
that can be done through Apollo. I'm happy to kind of share more color on that and how we're currently doing it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's all from me.
Continue on, Pablo. You're next.
Awesome. Well, on top of helping Mia and Lucy and Sarah, because I know she's also in that effort, providing cloud coverage for Avi on the fundraising front. We're already getting some good feedback. Now we just gotta continue pushing on that, especially through Finta. Continuing to do outreach and executing on some really outstanding deals. Thank you, Florent and Tatavik and Sabode behind the scenes, kind of helping us push some of these deals forward. And then hiring or recruiting, continuing on the interview front as well. So that's it for me.
Sarah.
Hello. Right now I'm applying to this Google.org application. So that's my focus for today. I have some questions because the questions on the application are a little bit different than, like, I guess, for example, one is how will you use the profit that your organization earns from a proposed project? And there's another question about social impact. So I want to get the team's input on what we think, how we want to talk about our project in that way. So yeah, that's what we're working on.
Next up, Tushar.
Hi everyone. So I worked on the website, created few more pages for partnerships, affiliates, terms and service, and privacy policy. Made the website responsive and changed the content a bit and added some branding. Used the brand colors for the website. Yes.
Next is Rupesh.
Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. I've worked on updating icons, Chulu side icons across the application, and task is done. Raised a PR and Mali have uploaded and it's in dev now. Also connected with Lucy to debug the issue she came across yesterday, trying to replicate it. And apart from that, I requested changes in the new traits API endpoint. Moreover, I started working on using ShardCN for UI inconsistencies. That's all up to me. Thanks.
What is the change, Rupesh, for the trade endpoint that you want us to do?
Yeah, I noticed that the previous endpoint is generating a new trait on its own, but our actual use case was to take an input from the user as the trait and generate labels for that.
Okay.
But the old endpoint was like it has some static number like 2 or 3, it is
Hmm.
generating those number of new traits which are not selected.
Right. Okay, so you want, mm,
But
but even
yeah,
but
go ahead.
even in the new attribute generation, right? Like we do kind of
Hmm.
both. If it comes empty, then you generate the label, the name of the attribute and the labels of the alternative attribute as well. But if the name is provided, we do the same. So if you
If the
maintain,
name is provided, like you with attributes, you were actually generating a levels for that.
Mhm.
Yeah, but here like the I mean the payload is not taking the user entered trait at all.
uh, okay,
I think you got my point, right? Like user will
right.
enter some kind of trait,
Mhm.
but it's not in the payload at all. Then how will you generate a labels
Yeah, so you
particular
need
to
to
that?
then
Yeah.
yeah, you need to send us then whatever the text is entered.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like, but the API endpoint needs to get updated.
Okay. So if you update the payload, we'll make that. That's like just two lines of change, nothing much
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I have requested the changes with Madi. I have showed him the structure that he should
of
have.
the payload. Okay.
Yeah, and also I think there are other attributes in that payload like number of traits and number of levels labels for each. I
Hmm.
think it's not necessary, right? Like we will be just generating one trait and a labels for that,
I
but
think,
not the.
yeah, I mean, we made it so that it will stay flexible. So we could use like four labels at max, which you
Mhm.
kind of pass as a default, so that we don't have to then, rechange or change quite a bit of stuff in future if you wanted like how many labels we want to do it. That's why we kept it that way. So
For
we'll
labels
not
it's
let.
fine, but not for
Uh,
trait, right?
yeah, so I
I
mean by
also
default we generate two at the moment. We'll again make that one. So
okay.
that's fine.
Yeah. Also, I won't be sending the selected traits
Hmm.
because I think we can do the validation just on the front end.
Mm.
Like if a user have entered a existing trait,
Hmm.
then we won't make an API call. We will make an API call only if the trait does not exist. So
It,
like you
it,
don't so you don't need actually the selected traits. Earlier
mm,
in the payload you have a selected traits as an array.
mm.
I think you don't need it any further if you are generating it anyway, and the
No,
validation is handled on the front end.
but we will need that, right? So what if the LLM generates something which already exists?
Mhm.
So how
So
would
in that
we know? Yeah.
then in that case, like you should be needing all the attributes, but not only the selected. I mean, all the traits, but not only the selected traits.
Mm,
Yeah. For suppose like if there
yeah.
is an age which is not checked,
Mm,
and user tries again to fetch labels for the trait age
mm,
trait, you should you should also cross check with that one, right?
right. Okay, so then this is what we could do. We have what, like 16 or 18 of those unique traits, right? Uh, Mainly. So we maintain that list automatically in the backend ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then let's say you ask for a new trait, we generate a new one. And
Okay.
then if the user asks again, like let's say second
Mm-hmm.
time, can you at
Okay.
least then send us the newly generated one?
Mhm.
Rupesh, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
I'm just thinking. I'm giving a thought about it. Yeah, I think I'll look into that because just sending the a user specific entered traits, so we have to manage them separately.
Hmm.
Yeah, have we look a way for that? If not, then we can just pass all the trait keywords, just keywords, not the labels.
Yeah, labels
Just
are not required. Only
yeah,
the,
just a
yeah,
trait keywords.
yeah,
I mean all like you don't need to maintain them on the backend. I will just pass through the payload. You can
yeah.
cross
So
check and.
whichever way turns out to be easy for you, just let us know. If you can
Okay.
pass all the keys, it's good for us. If you can't, only the newly generated one, that is also good for us. We can
Okay.
maintain both ways. So let us know either way and we'll make the change.
Okay. Fine. That sounds good.
Okay, so
Thank you.
do the experimentation, do the yeah, run some checks and tell us which one is easy for you, and we'll do it accordingly.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. And I think that the progress bar color thing is also pending, Rupesh. If you get
Oh
time
yeah.
around, if it's not a like a
Sure. Sure.
lengthy task.
Yeah. Yeah. I just fix it.
uh, Thanks. That will be nice.
Okay.
All right. Hadi.
Hello everyone. So this week I was working on Kotlin. I had some issue running it locally. Now I can run and I can chat with document. Yeah, and next we'll deploy this to GCP, and I need someone to give me the permission. Like I tried, it doesn't allow me.
What doesn't allow you? What doesn't allow you to do what? Saying it doesn't allow
Uh,
me is two pronouns.
permission. Our name said like permission issue. I'm not able to add a billing account to the content project I created in GCP.
For what?
It needs that billing account is needed to use GCP services like Outbound or Kubernetes. Or
For why are you doing? Why are you doing? Why do you need Kubernetes?
to deploy the project,
Which project?
Kotemon.
No, I deployed Kotamon in 2 minutes. No permissions needed.
Well, I tried.
If you get blocked, you need to post in a public channel instantly. Don't wait until stand up to get blocked. I can demo my instance of Kotamon that I got running. You know.
Okay.
Tell me. Um. Schedule a session and let's go through it. Because I'd like to understand what's where you're getting blocked. Oh, were you blocked in getting the keys into Kotimon?
No, that's fine. I can run it locally.
Locally, I don't want you developing locally. Nobody should be developing locally.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to deploy it, but it's locked.
Okay, yeah, schedule a session. I'll give you. Madi should have admin to GCP. He should be able to get you anything you need.
I think Mahdi is busy.
Okay, schedule a session and we'll do it together. I'll get you whatever you need.
Okay. Avi, you next.
I've been doing a lot of like operation stuff, contracting work. Yesterday I spent the day at the UN. The UN wants us to, the UN has this group of like 200 or so nonprofits and NGOs, and they're kind of having a lot of difficulty understanding what to prioritize. There's folks that are like, you know, nature focused, poverty focused, food insecurity focused, equality focused, climate focused. These are all separate initiatives with separate stakeholders and separate funding sources. There is a project, this like UN for Good project that my friend is running. And so I spoke at 2 events at the UN actually yesterday. And they want to know, I didn't give them an answer yet, but they want to know if we can build a digital twin of all of their stakeholders, of all of these like global citizens and all these different groups. And then the idea is, you know, these like 200 different projects, can we run an experiment on these 200 different projects across these simulated UN stakeholders to see which projects will resonate with which groups of people. I don't think there's very much money behind this, but I think there's a lot of press. There is this idea of like voluntary contributions for this effort. The ambassador was like, I don't know, so anyway, so that's an idea for us. It's up to this group if we want to tackle that project, but it's there. It's the global actions, the UN global actions.
I mean, it will be nice, not just because we'll do something, but given we get exposure to 200 different contexts, it will also probably throw us a lot of bugs in our system, which will help us actually fix it. So, in a way, it's a good thing.
I love that attitude. Yeah. Yeah. It's good exposure.
If we run one study per group, we get like 200. That's another 200 addition to the showcase page as well. So either way, it benefits us.
Oh, I like that. Okay, good. I will propose it, or I will accept it. Well, I should ask. Tati Beek's out today. Where's Madi? Pablo, Madi. What do you guys think? Or anyone else? You guys into it?
I like where Subodh's head is at. I agree with the logic. I just want to make sure then that if we go on this journey, that we're also properly recalibrating our expectations and our focus. You know what I mean? Like, we also have to understand that at the same time, we're trying to close deals. And if the platform is breaking left and right, that really kills that, that endeavor.
That's an orthogonal statement.
My statement is to make sure that we allocate the resource in preparation for that, instead of continuing to build a whole bunch of new features on top of this, on top of seeing that there's going to be a rise in bugs. I want to make sure that the team is properly focused on that.
It's not new features. It's running experiments. There shouldn't be new features. And
we
should always be focused on stability.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the only assurance that I'm looking for.
I need to echo what Pablo was saying. I think, I'm a bit, my personal take would be like, maybe that is Horizon 2 project rather than an Horizon 1 because global population would require like calibrating. Like, I mean, if they ask us to like stakeholders in Peru want, it's going to be like, I mean, are foundational models able to calibrate on that? That's my big question mark. And I'm also like we were talking about earlier about going from like implementing the work that Florian has done on the statement like this to kind of echo Pablo's is that it would take us kind of further away in terms of the core of market research. And so I feel like I would want to make sure that everything is working very smoothly. Like for example, like the work I'm doing right now with for the prospective client, I'm like, oh, you would need this and that to make it work correctly for the client. So that's probably going to that might require some work for the engineering. So I think that Horizon 1 would be more let's really lock in on going to market with where we have a strong product market fit, and then Horizon 2 extending the product would be my perspective.
Right. Okay, so it's not a screaming yes. So it sounds like we need to. It sounds like we need to prioritize this and sequence it properly. Okay.
Okay. Anything else, Avi?
I spoke at this podcast thing that should be published in a day or two. It was like a pitch event. I met the NVIDIA head of like corporate venture and this IEEE guy at corporate venture who I think could help us. No, yeah, that's it. There was
Question. Was that meeting you said corporate venture, like a CVC, is that for fundraise or is that for another
it
objective?
wasn't. It was like just kind of like a happy accident, but I would like to use them because we're in the NVIDIA startups program, but it like has not really provided a lot of value for us. Yet growth mindset yet.
Okay. All right. So the last one is me. So now we added few lines of text into the survey prompt that will actually help LLM understand the survey question and then accordingly make the choices better. So it goes back to the one of the issue that I think Mia or Lucy posted in the hunting channel. So I think for a certain question, everything was okay in terms of output as in feature importance. It's just that the signs were flipped. So the question was, I guess, what are the factors that affect procrastination? So LLM should have chosen the options which should have led to the highest amount of procrastination. And then we should have seen like all the things that affect procrastination on a positive. But that wasn't the case. So now we actually take the prompt and we take the attribute and then we ask the LLM, okay, so if this is the prompt, so tell us like what is the main target behavior, and if these are the kind of attributes, so you can have a more positive attributes or negative attributes, and then based on that you will decide whether to maximize the behavior or minimize the behavior. So you decide that and then you pass that information to LLM, so it actually knows, okay, here are my options, why I should choose something, whether I'm trying to maximize a certain behavior or minimize it. And then that will ensure that we see true sign of the beta. So then we ran the same experiment
Wait,
with the
say that one more time. Explain that again. Sorry.
Okay. So consider a question, okay, same thing. What factors affect procrastination? And then you have some attributes like time management.
What affects increased procrastination or decreased procrastination? So so one experiment was magnitude, the other was direction.
No. So
Sexy.
now we
Okay, got it.
basically figure out and tell that to LLM. We are trying to maximize the behavior, so make your choices accordingly. So
And do we
then
change the dependent variable?
So the whole thing, we add 2 or 3 more lines of text in the beginning, which provide explicit information on what is the target behavior, in which direction the optimization needs to happen, and then a similar looking context to give more realism to the whole task.
I love it. And then do we have that in the Y prompt? What do we call that? The causality check.
No, it's not in this, but it's the final prompt where we show the options and ask the LLM to make a choice. That's where we provide all that additional information.
So we don't change. Okay. Could we also change the dependent variable maybe as well? Because we create the dependent variable from the Y prompt, and that should have directionality as well.
So I'll do the following. I'll paste us out exact prompt that goes in, have a read, and tell us if you still feel we need to provide dependent variable. At least based on what now we have, it looks that this will do the job, but I'll paste it, everyone have a look, and then we will decide
I love that,
accordingly.
Yeah. It would be great to have that explicit directionality in a bunch of different places, because I noticed that when we create the sample, like when we fail the causality checks and it comes up with a bunch of suggestions, those also sometimes are magnitude instead of direction.
Yeah, so again, like we make a change in one place and then it gives us an idea, okay, maybe we can do something similar in the other place. So we can again go back and look at target behavior optimization and then ask it to provide suggestions in that direction. Frame the question that it's more in either maximizing or minimizing direction. So it will be easy.
Oh, so we'll you're so good. And is this similar to the question I asked Chin? Is this a feature flag that we can test where eventually we'll say, for every dependent variable?
It is.
Yeah, and we'll run 3 experiments.
Yeah, so we do have another one where previously what we used to do was just get like the study object and say, here is the study object that we are trying to understand and do the survey, versus now we have this one. So we can play around and see which one does better.
And is the goal here to eventually, for every experiment, run a positive experiment, a negative experiment, and a magnitude experiment?
Hopefully with this we can run now, and LLM should able to differentiate because we are asking it to explicitly do that while making the choices.
Oh, Subodh, you're so good.
So this is why I was earlier saying maybe we should accept the UN thing, because maybe we come across some context where it really requires us to think how to prompt LLM so that it's become more generic and applicable across domain. So that was my whole intent. So if procrastination example, I don't know when this would have happened and we had have landed this bug. It was nice somebody ran such experiment, but the idea is same, right? You get my point. The more context we try, like across different fields, we'll be better able to tell LLM how to make choices so that we don't end up with a situation of flipping the signs and having a totally different interpretation. So that was the whole point behind accepting that one, but I'll leave it. So that's that. uh, we also consolidated attributes and labels generation. So we have one which is for generic items when there is no market, real world market product, versus one there is a real world market product. So front end accordingly calls them, do some checks, then call this, do some checks, call this. So this basically involves doing 3 or 4 API calls. Now we basically consolidated everything in the back end. So front end only makes one call. Whatever needs to happen will happen in the back end. So in future, if we try to go from, two if else to, I don't know, another nested if else, we can do it easily without worrying the front end people. So we consolidated that. So that will help some of the pain in the UI. And today we should be done with Atish population definition merge in the dev. I've already talked to Hardy, and then I'll give him the output tomorrow, and then he will basically merge that with the front end. So my plan is, or I'm really trying, by Friday evening during stand up, we give you a demo where, at least for the US state, you can define your population at a higher granular level, like age, income, race, and all those things selected. And so will be the case with adding the traits as well. That shouldn't be tricky. So by Friday stand up, or on the Friday stand up, we should have all those things ready as a demo.
And this is
It's a lot of things.
That is a lot of things. This is the novel traits, creating the novel traits.
Yeah, this is adding the new traits.
Amazing.
So yeah, that is it from my end. And with that, I think we are done. Does anybody have any demo?
Well, I can give a demo. I don't know if it's very compelling. Okie dokie. Let me see if I can do this. I'll share my screen. So, there is a product called Kotamon. It took me literally like 5 minutes to set up. It's like pip install Kotamon, boom, you have it running. npm run Kotamon, boom, it's up and running. And so what this is it's, I think, a 64,000 star GitHub repository, open source Apache 2, all the goodies, and it lets you. It creates the it's got two capabilities. Number one, it's kind of the base for this this GPT researcher. GPT researcher is obviously like way better, but if you ask it a question, it's kind of like the poor man's perplexity. It will go out and it will do all these searches, and it will come back and assess your results, and it's got all this different like nice types of retrieval settings. So like it's got these different types of reasoning, right? The Rebu paradigm, where it does the step-by-step plan in the first stage, and then it goes and searches in the second stage, and then summarize all the results in the third stage. By the way, some people are hypothesizing. Some people say, an unattributable quote, that OpenAI is using a lot of these open source GPT researcher projects in their own version of their like GPT researcher, which would not surprise me. Because there's been like a bunch of like people that are like, oh, well, I'm going to test this open source project against GPT researcher, and it's not that different. Anyway, so you can do you can add all kinds of different knowledge retrieval capabilities, right? And the most cool thing is it's got this sexy little chat, where you can load up your files, right? If you look up these files, what I did was I ran an experiment, and then I clicked export as PDF from each of these places. I know there's a more elegant solution here. Ideally, like all of our experiments should export as some markdown file, which is like much easier to rag, or it's much more interpretable by an LLM, but whatever. I downloaded the PDFs, I loaded up the PDFs, and then you get this cute little chat, right? Where it will tell you like, you know, it'll give you all of these quotes about the files that you loaded. The only thing is it's like not using, no evidence found. I'm not entirely sure if it's working yet, to be honest. Mindset navigation. But anyway, it's potentially a tool that we could leverage. Maybe. So yeah, Hadi, I'd love to connect and see if we can test this out and get this thing as a proof of concept working. But I found a bunch of really nice third-party LLM tools that are kind of adjacent to research that we may want to consider piloting. Right, because this is pretty generic. If we could I don't know. I feel like we could really improve the thought process of this here. That's all I got.
How does the PDF look like, the mindset.pdf? Is the PDF too complicated for it to understand and read?
It's
the mindset one. I mean, this one looks fine.
Stand by, boss. Mindset. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot of graphs. Because it has a lot of graphs, it's not able to really comprehend. Could be.
Maybe. I mean, I've done another exercise. Actually, Pablo, you could maybe give your demo. I've done another exercise where I take the PDFs and I'll give it to Claude. And I'll interface with Claude about our PDFs, and that actually works.
Actually, that was my demo.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry. I stepped on your demo. I'm sorry. Forget I said anything.
No, that's exactly right. So I had started playing around with Claude and Subconscious a few weeks ago. And what I wanted to show was actually a pretty interesting artifact that came as I was actually demoing the platform with a chief marketing officer. And we were talking about how to make things easier to understand and all these things. And I was like, one of the cool things that I've been doing is downloading the PDFs, get all the PDFs, compiling them together, pushing them to Claude, and then asking Claude to synthesize this in plain language. And then being able to ask it questions based on the insights that have been generated. And so what was really cool, this is one that I did an experiment on what is relevant and important for a VC pitch. And I would follow up with additional questions based on the insights. And I would ask it questions like, what other questions should I be asking And then I asked it a very aggressive one, which is do a user journey for me. It is a promise that we declare in our public website, although not something that the platform proactively just exerts and answers for us. We can do it, but it's like little pieces here and there. Yet, right. But what was interesting is that it took an attempt, and this was the result that came out. It was this user journey. It also embedded our level of confidence or impact from our subconscious reporting. And you could add additional swim lanes and layers to this, which I found really interesting. And it was a magical moment last night as I was having a demo, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. And so, some future cases would be if I run multiple experiments, right? We have a user journey. I would love to run experiments across each one of the user interactions that occur, right? But ultimately, what I want to create is not a user journey, it's a service blueprint, which is even more intelligent and relevant, right? And basically what I can do is if I got this, I even asked the question like, okay, if I want to create a user journey, what other questions and experiments following the model of subconscious can I generate? And it told me a whole bunch of other areas and prioritize those other experiments that I can run, and then get PDFs for those and marry them all together. It does the hard work. It's not perfect because I know Subodh is like, oh, well, the attributes and the levels for this, we have to make sure that it speaks the same language with this other report and make sure, you know what I mean, that it's consistent. Totally get it. But it is a step in that direction, right, that we can do that is very interesting and helpful, because odds are for an outcome, there are many experiments and questions that we need to answer, not just one experiment. We have the engine to do it. Right now, we don't have the way to synthesize all of those experiments into one, which is what they care about. So just wanted to share that. That was really cool. Loved it. Keep on doing the good thing. But I don't know. I got excited.
This came out of one of our reports?
Yes.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. It was literally a PDF. I didn't share even the Excel or the data. It was just, here's the PDF. Mm-hmm. And the user was like, oh my God, that's so cool, because it is overwhelming. The insights tabs for some of these people that are not PhDs, right? Like, which is most people that we're targeting, to be clear. Right? And so they were like, oh, wow, okay, this is cool. This simplifies things for me. I could ask it questions. That dynamic makes it very sticky, because now they're like, well, what is the next question that I want to answer, right? How do I go deeper? How do I go wider, right? They don't know what the answer is, but Claude did a good job of saying, hey, here are the other gaps, based on your goal that you should be considering. And now I just created another loop, of additional experiments. So it was a really cool user experience that can potentially make us extremely sticky if we provide the same within our platform. And I know we're working towards that. I know Subodh is working really hard on the collaboration page. She also really loved that. Although it's in initial phases, she was extremely curious and was starting to play around with it. That's very powerful as well.
And Pablo, your focus on outcomes is really powerful, right? Because like, the more focused we are on helping our users achieve outcomes, the more value the product has.
That's correct.
Oh.
That's a hard line for me always. For me, even when I started talking to you, and I believe this is the product for that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, think about our stakeholders, the clients that are sending us a check, right? That are paying, right? They are chief marketing officer. They're the head of market research. What they're trying to do is say, I need to achieve this KPI so that I look good and so does the company, right? KPI is an outcome, right? It's based on the outcome. I need to generate more sales. I need to increase the velocity to sell. I need to, increase my NPS scores. Those are outcomes, right? We're in the business of tilting the probability for them of achieving those outcomes. So the closer we are to those outcomes and guiding them, and the closer and higher visibility we have to those outcomes that they're achieving, the more powerful and compelling we are. Mm-hmm. So it's not about the insights. I want to make it very clear. I mean, that's just my interpretation. It's not about the insights. It's about what they do with those insights to achieve outcome, period.
I love that. Real quick, just to wrap up, for Chin and Mia and who else was it? And Lucy or anyone else in New York, we can do either 3 o'clock or 4:45 at NYU, and we need to bring props. I don't know what that means, but which of those times do you guys prefer?
I have class at 4, so 3 would work better.
Aggressive. Chin, can you make 3? Lucy, can you make 3 at NYU?
Yeah, I can do 3.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna say 2:30. Let's meet at NYU at 2:30, and everyone bring one prop.
What's a prop?
I'm
not.
I'll send you a link. I'll send you. They have picture. They have example props. This is the whole thing. I have no idea what's happening.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much.
I'll see you guys at 3. Nice work, everybody. Happy Wednesday.
Thank
Bye,
you.
guys. Oh shit.